Welcome back, everybody. Just Mike here. Anyway, let's get back to part 2 of this wonderful clock. We left off with possibly shining the movement frame. So you can see the color of this is gold, but it's not what I consider brass. It's kind of nasty. So what I plan on doing is, this here is a polish. I'm going to try this first to see if I can get this to brighten up. Otherwise I'll go ahead and go to something stronger. And there's a chance I might just strip this finish off because, like I say, I don't like the looks of that. There, you can tell it looks a heck of a lot better. It's got that brass color again. Right around the post here you can see kind of what it was looking like. I got a little bit of that cleaned up, but it's mainly just getting this so if someone accidentally looks at the back of the Cuckoo clock, pops the back open, they would see something nice and bright. So now I have all my parts clean, and so what you need to do now to make it easier for yourself is take the parts that belong on the outside of the clock and separate them from the inside of the clock. And we're going to include this on for the outside of the clock because I'll put that in last. So this way it's not as confusing. This here I'm going to kind of keep here because this needs to go in as the plates go together. So as you can kind of see, there's very little left to stick in here, and it's not as mind-blowing with all the parts scattered together, worried about whether you're going to get it in there or not. So here's the picture. Hopefully you take your picture, set it in front of you, and this will give you a good idea of how to put it back together in here. And to tell whether the top or bottom is here, on the picture it shows this is pointing down when I was taking the picture. But before I start getting all that on, I do need to get this on. It goes right there. And it's going to have to wrap around and drop in. And clear this gear with its levers that are on it. So now that I have this installed, I'm going to oil it because number one, you can get to it. Get my oiler started here. Now I can put the E-clip on. So we have the E-clip on there. Remember, this here peg goes into that. We're going to put this on now because this has the gear that it's got to go around. It just makes it easier.
This side is in.
Moving this lever for the Cuckoo bird lock sometimes is kind of a pain. I mean, it moves fine, but there we got it. But we're not done yet because we need to set the timing with this here and the levers in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the levers in here. This is the one I said need to go in first. It drops down in there. There we go. So right now it won't turn. That's because the star wheel, we need to turn that till this lever can drop down. There we go. And actually, this here, believe it or not, is perfect because it falls and stops. I don't have the spring up here on it. Let me put the spring on and then we'll see how well that falls. And I forgot, normally I don't like to put the levers on until I oil it because they're going to be hidden in behind these levers, but I'll deal with that. Like I say, I'm happy with that. So that means I can go ahead and, well, yeah, I can go ahead and screw this down tight. And off camera, I'm going to go ahead and put my E-clips in here. So coming back to this in reverse order, we already have this one in, and I can put this one in. Now we can put the hammer in and go ahead and connect the spring. So I have the spring tied back in again. Now, I did want to, I guess, mention this here peg is falling right in the mouth of the Pac-Man. If this was it has to fall no matter what. But if it was sitting up this way more, or if it was up here, it would not stop. It'd have to keep going till it dropped, and if it dropped and would keep going, that's because your warning pin in here, it's right there, it needs to be caught by this lever. And if you needed to, if you don't have to move it too much, you could go ahead and turn the Pac-Man, grab a hold of the pliers and carefully turn it, try not to scar it up. If it's just a very little bit I need to turn it, I'd do it. Otherwise, what I do is I look to see where the warning pin is with this setting in line, at least with the mouth. Like if it was up here, still it's not able to go down, I'd be looking to see where that warning pin is, even if it went past it. Try to get that into the mouth. You're gonna have to take this nut off, loosen that one. You might not have to loosen that one, but you can spread this plate and this gear that has the warning pin on it. You see it's got the bigger gears right here. Those have to be taken away from this gear, because what you're going to do is you're going to turn just the warning pin gear. And I found it's easier if you just take the fan off to get it out of the way and then pop the gear here that has the teeth, pop that end of it off or out, just to move it away from that gear a little bit, and then turn this wherever you need to turn it in order to get it close to this here lever that stops it. And if you get it too close, like you line it right up against it, that might not be a good thing, because the clock is spinning and it needs time to, when it falls, it needs just a little bit of time to catch. You can see I got a little bit of movement there. Oh, no, you can't see it. I got a little bit of movement there that I'm able to play with, let's just say. So you might have to back that warning pin up if you got it too close. So anyway, this side is pert near done. Let me put this back on. So what we're going to do now is put our star wheel on and then try to figure out where it needs to set. And to do that, we're going to put a load, our finger, on it so that's in the stop position. Get this back on there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this thing do a cuckoo. That's where I'm going to lock it. Gong, cuckoo. Now we'll test this out. I'm going to trigger this. Gong, cuckoo. Well, that didn't help much. Let me show it again. Gong, cuckoo. That don't. Gong, cuckoo. That little rod you're looking at. So, because that's going down, now I don't have a load on the clock when it hits the warning pin. I mean, this will start going up as soon as the warning pin hits. But trying to keep a load off the clock the best you can, so that way it will want to keep moving when it's told to move. And again, I'm adding parts before I oil. So I can't oil there, so I'm going to come through here and put my drop of oil in there. You get too much oil on your clock, get a tissue and dab it back off again. You don't want too much oil on your clock because it just causes dust to want to cling to it. I think I got them all. Trying to look behind these levers. So I'm going to put the legs back on again, and then we're going to play with this and try to get it right. Putting this back on, I usually like to try to get my spring wrapped around before I get it in. It doesn't work all the time. Nope, I messed up my peg. Have to do that one over again. Need the peg on this side of the plate. Oh, I tell you. There we go. And then test this, because you don't want it too tight and you don't want too loose. Just kind of wiggle it up and down. See if it moves. This moves a little bit. This moves a little bit. It's not too sloppy. And it seems to be working fine there. Some of these are a pill. They don't want to go in unless you put them in together, because this needs to be kind of behind that plate. Or not necessarily behind, in between the plate. Like that. Let's see. So now what we need to do is actually activate 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was right. Where I want to make sure is at the 12 o'clock. So this is 11. This is a half hour. The half hour, this does not fall. It just falls just a little bit, just enough for this to catch one tooth to do one cuckoo. This is going to be the 12. See, this fell all the way down, but you see where it fell? It's too close here. I want to fall more of in this area, closer to the side here. And so what I'm going to do, actually, I got it ready to go. I want that star to drop. Okay, right there is where it wants to go. Or it's ready to cuckoo now. I'm too far away. And so what I want to do is I'm going to move this the tooth. So I move it another tooth, I'll move another tooth and show you. You don't want too close to this. But yeah. Okay, we're in. That's actually not bad there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, I'm awful at counting evidently. But see how close I am to the tip? I don't like that. And so I'm going to bring it back one tooth. So when this does fall, right now on this one, I'm in the middle. And now let's count how many it's going to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I'm happy with that. You can go around and try the other ones too. Some people say that at 6 o'clock they have a problem. I would be surprised because we have quite a bit of space there. I'm going to go ahead and oil these two places and then put my washer back on. And you notice the washer where it's higher here sucks in here. I put it on this way because I want it closer to holding this gear down instead of having a chance of coming up and going past this gear here. So now let's put the music box lever on, and it shows it's a little bit to the side. There's a chance you're going to need to do some adjustments on this, as in moving it either way. And so snug it up, but you might still be able to move this back and forth a little bit. So now I'm going to go ahead and put the chains in the clock. All you have to do is see which way this thing turns. You see it's turning that way. Because it's turning that way, this is the side you want to put the chain in. You don't need to put it in a mile because it's just going to tangle up in the other gears. You can see I got it caught there. So now I'll turn it and set it right side up, so that way the chain will not tangle up in the rest of the gears. And of course it's not dropping like it normally does. There we go. So what I do here is I'll give it a 50-50 split. I'll make both these ends of chain touch each other on the end, so that way it has even weight on it. And let's just put it up here for now so it doesn't want to fall off. Again, it winds up that way, so right here is where we're going to insert the chain and do the same thing. And if you can't get in there, this is a little bit more difficult on this one. Use your screwdriver and turn it. Once you get a little bit of a turn on it, you should be able to stand this up. Now get them both together again on the ends. The 50-50 split. So those are on. This is ready to go into the box. But is the box ready for it? We have one more chain to put on, but that is separate. It goes into the music box system. Well, I dusted off the clock. I tried gluing this up against the housing of the clock, but this seems to have stress to it. So this could be warped, but I decided not to worry too much about it. It would be nice to have it hold on to there, because holding on to this, you can see how much it moves. And so, because it's my clock, I'm just going to have to make sure to remember not to hold on to the clock here, especially when the movement's in there. And there's a chance that down the road I might go ahead and put another piece of wood in there, because it is quite a space. Or I might go ahead and just glue it and clamp it. This here has been glued on. I dusted this whole clock off with a paintbrush. And for the water wheel, I went ahead and oiled this end right here, and I got behind and oiled the part that goes through the metal and out, and it seems to turn a lot easier now. So hopefully the chain will be able to drag across that and turn that around. So anyway, the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and wax this whole clock with this wood polish end conditioner. It'll make the clock shiny, but then that shine will go away after it soaks in. I did forget to mention, you want to oil where this hits on the gear on both sides. Now it won't fall off. I got the chain into the music box coming in behind this bracket, so you're with the wheel, brought it up over and around and back down again. So that's installed. On the roof, I went ahead and glued it and let it set overnight. Then in this corner here, I went ahead and used super glue and baking soda, or baking powder, I think it's soda, and that's supposed to make a stronger bond. And so hopefully now when you pull on this bottom, this will support it enough it won't rock back and forth. And as you can see, this here fencing, I guess we'll call it, there are two pieces missing, but it's not that noticeable when you're hanging it up on the wall and you get to see more of the actual water wheel. So now I'm going to put the movement in this thing and try to figure out how he hooks up for sure to the bellow, I do believe. I'm going to go ahead and install the Cuckoo bird on here because it's going to be a lot easier than trying to dig clear up in the top. And if I need to do more adjustments once it's in, it'd be easier instead of trying to feed it across this rod here. To feed the chain in, I'm going to put the hour, minute hand shaft into the hole where you hang the clock. Separate these chains a bit, and these are chains that are steel, so they go to a magnet screwdriver. I'll set this down close to the hole with the screwdriver in, and I can bring it through, and it's a whole lot easier than trying to fish it through a different way. And now to try to wheedle this thing down without getting hung up on everything. And the biggest thing, because of the arm in here, or lever that goes to the man that's chopping the wood in front, that wire also gets in the way. Let me screw the movement down, then we'll go from there. So I have no idea. This is the arm that goes to the chopper in front. This is the wire that I found dangling around in here, not knowing for sure how it went, but my guess was it goes up to this bellow besides the one that goes to the lift arm here. And messing with it and everything, I don't know if I got it right, but at least So we're going to call that good enough. Then so now I need to look at my movement and figure out what weights go to this movement. So for looking at my plate, this one here matches. This is a regular 21, and according to this, it takes a 270 weight. Time, strike, musical. So as you saw just a little while ago, that's a regular movement, and the name Albert, I do believe it was on there, that was the clock company that more than likely hired or bought movements from Regula and had their name put on it. And so I'm going to guess that would be the brand of that clock right there. Anyway, I'm glad we got this thing done. I don't have the exact right weights. I only have two of them that are small enough to work, and on the music side I had to help it a little bit because it's undersized by about 50 grams or whatever and just doesn't want to quite make the music. So I'm going to have to do some ordering, I guess. I got a lot of 8-day weights. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. I do hope you appreciated this video and possibly things about your clock that you didn't know, and you might be able to solve what's going on with your clock just by this video, hopefully. Anyway, until next time, oh, don't forget to subscribe because it's free. And give me a thumbs up and a comment if you'd like to. Anyway, until next time, God bless.